Joe Leonard driving one of the STP cars, going into the backstretch. Here they are on their parade lap. Had trouble with the car, and the car locked up going down the backstretch. Gary Bettenhausen, here they're on the green now. Gary Bettenhausen was involved with about 11 cars. There you can see Gary going down the backstretch. It's pretty far away from me, though, but you can get some idea. This took out 11 cars in this race. A lot of the big-name drivers were out, so it was rather a quiet race after this happened. Nobody was hurt in here. And there's Gary's car. Complete wreck. He'll have to rebuild his car or use his second car when he comes back in August. So now I'm going to turn this rest of this film over to Cy Nelson, who does all my narrating of my film and who does a wonderful job in narration. So, Cy, I want you can take it over.
Flipped over and they dug him out of the mud. But he's only suffering from shock, no serious injuries, as they lift Gary's car up and haul it away to the junk heap. A lot of money, about $500,000 involved in that back straightaway accident on the first lap. Now it's time for the Tony Bettenhausen 200-miler in August. Always run traditionally during State Fair Park. The State Fair week, these films are done by Bill Zautke and show pit action and a great deal of pit action, realizing that a great many people do not get to see what takes place in the pits, and a number of race fans do not get to see many of the drivers close up. Mike Mosley's car, the Zico Lubaid car. A leader card special, rather, by Bob Wilkie. Sonny Yates' car in the background. One of the STP specials. Little engine tuning by some of the mechanics. Gary Bettenhausen's other car. This is ready again for the Tony Bettenhausen after being totally demolished in the other race. A.J. Foyt's number 6, a Sheridan Thompson special, which A.J. runs into bad luck with. 26 belongs to Rick Muther. In the background, the green car, Al LaCosta. In the foreground, you'll see Lothar Machenbacher's car. Lloyd Ruby's number 25, the Win friction-proofing special. Lloyd is not having one of his better years in 1969. A great driver, a consistent driver, and always in contention. Gordon Johncock's number 12, the Gilmore Broadcasting Special. A day that didn't turn out too well for Gordon either. He spent more time in the pits practically than on the track. A look at some of the machinery, mag wheels, superchargers, anything and everything to make a car go faster on the track. Bobby Unser's car, former Indy winner. Bob Wilkie on the left, the leader card owner. Wally Dallenbach's number 22, the Sprite Special. Mike Mosley, Bobby Unser's car again, and a good shot of Mario Andretti's number 2, the STP Special. Worth up to $90,000 to $100,000. Billy Simpson's car, number 28. Cockpits in these cars are tailored to the drivers. All the work has to be done in the pits before qualifying, and they come back in for a quick tune-up in the engines, and it had better be perfect. Some days they run perfectly, some days they don't. And there's Maury Rose, former 3-time Indianapolis winner. Jim Rathman also attended this particular race. And for qualifying, a little practice to spin out in the first lap. Jimmy McElreath in car number 14, which last year was driven by Sammy Sessions. As they come around in practice laps, the pack moves around. Some hot laps being turned in by the drivers. A double spin in the number 2 turn. Neither car getting into trouble, both getting out of it. As A.J. comes around in the Sheridan Thompson Special. Bad luck with it later. Mario goes by in the number 2 STP Special. A.J. again coming around. Mike Mosley's car, and we're back in the pits for that final tune-up of the engines. And this is their last shot at it, and it had better be perfect. Wally Dallenbach's car, the Sprite Special. And it's about time to move them out on the track as they finish qualifying. We're right near the end of qualifying as Roger McCluskey comes in. Lothar Machenbacher's car, the brown job. Close-ups of the drivers in the cars. A good shot of Mario Andretti as he prepares to go out, getting his helmet, getting all set. A.J. with the Roadster. A.J. took out the Sheraton Thompson Special, his championship car, blew an engine. Decided he'd run with the Roadster, to the delight of all the fans. They still like the Roadsters, and they love to see him on the track. Out in car number 20, Joe Leonard, and back to A.J. A.J. was the last qualifier in the Tony Bettenhausen race. As he rolls out of the pit area going for his practice lap, amazing that A.J. should qualify in 6th position with the old Roadster-type car. It's his dirt track car. As he backs into the pits, A.J. will talk it over with the crew to see what final adjustments should be made on the engine before they roll it out into position for the race itself. Good shot of one of the STP specials. That's Sonny Yates' car. A good shot of an STP. Bobby Unser's car, another leader card special. 62 is George Fulmer's car, AJ's, Roger McCluskey's, Lothar Machenbacher's. That's Billy Vukovic, the AC Agajanian special. Beautiful machinery. A look at the cockpit and the rearview mirror of one of these racing engines. The amount of money on the track is unbelievable. Over $1 million worth of machinery is on that track at one and the same time. Billy Simpson's car, number 28. Final preparations as they back a car into the pits, and it's time to roll them out on the track and get them in a position as they qualified. The cars are rolled out while the drivers are getting their last instructions. They have a drivers' meeting just preceding the race. Mike Mosley's car coming out. Mike, a young driver and a progressive driver, is doing very well on the championship circuit. As Art Pollard's car comes out, Mario Andretti's car moved out into its position for the start of the race. Drivers now buckling up. Wally Dallenbach in the Sprite Special, having a great year on the championship trail, one of Wally's best years, and a quick shot of Roger McCluskey getting ready to go, but it didn't turn out to be one of Roger's best days. Art Pollard in the STP Special. Bud Tingelstad in car number 14, a consistent veteran on the circuit. Mel Kenyon, rather. The driver who has won a number of midget championships, Billy Vukovic, and the J.C. Agajanian Special. A variety of helmet styles are used. Here's Gordon Johncock with his particular style, and the Gilmore Broadcasting Special talking over last-minute instructions. Jimmy McElreath, another shot of Jimmy. Sammy Sessions has a few last words for the pit crew before they go out. Mario Andretti and Sonny Yates. Sonny doing a great job on the sprint trail in 1969 as they move around on the parade lap for the Tony Bettenhausen 200-mile classic. And they come down and they get the green from Jim Malone. And Alan in car number 15 moves out into the lead on the first lap. A.J. goes by on the Roadster. But trouble as Sam Posey, driving the STP Special, hits the south wall. The car is out to the bird. Sam, the driver, is all right. A.J. back again. A great driver and a consistent driver. A.J. stays in with the Roadster and competes with them in the rear-engine cars. Mario goes by. It was not one of Mario's better days. The car just was not running properly for Mario. He had carburetor trouble until about 50 laps, dropped back a ways, then moved back up into contention, but was still out of place in order to win the race. STP cars going by. They move by hoping to stay at a groove in the race, and they hit the groove and move out toward the back wall as they come out of turn number 2 and turn number 4. They'll move out toward the back wall and the back straightaway and out toward the main straightaway wall as they come out of number 4. Track conditions vary as they move through the race with more oil in the track. Driving conditions change, and they have to change their style as they go around. The only time a driver wants to get out of the groove, and has to, is when traffic prohibits his going to stay in the groove. This particular race was run in August and during an exceedingly hot day, which took its toll not only of the engines and the cars, but of the drivers. And before the day was over, 4 or 5 drivers had to have relief. Rick Buford rolls into the infield in trouble. No serious trouble. The car is out of contention, and Rick is out of the race. Back on the green again. Someone in trouble on the inner lane as Lloyd Ruby goes by. Lloyd with the car back in contention again. Bobby Unser, former Indy winner, and number 1. And the pace continues to be real hot. Gary Bettenhausen almost lost it in number 1, saved it, and then get back in contention. And someone spins out into the infield and comes back again, moving back into the track. A complete spin by Roger McCluskey. He loses it in number 2, but then goes back into the pits to check out the rubber. Lots of traffic in the back straightaway. A rugged physical test of drivers and a test of the best in automotive engineering in these races. Pit action now as they start to move in at about 75 laps. Jimmy McElreath comes in car number 14 for a quick pit stop. Gas is up. He's rolled back out again and back into the race. One of many pit stops now by Roger McCluskey. Roger comes in and tells his pit crew of the trouble he's having, and he'll make 2 or 3 more pit stops. This time he takes on a quick and is rolled back out onto the track. This was Roger's good year in the stock cars as Roger won the championship. A.J. goes by now in Roadster and stays right in there. Al Unser goes by, still leading the race and having a perfect day with the engine running perfectly. And the Parnelli Jones special. Bobby Unser goes by. More heat, more tension, and more traffic. That's the story of today's race. Billy Simpson comes in for a pit stop, plagued with problems. 4 pit stops, Gordon Johncock. What a many pit stops for Gordon, and before the day is over, he'll have to call it a day. Back out he goes. Gordon is a driver that won't quit as long as the engine will run. The first driver change, Al Smith, in the other roadster in the race. Al Smith of Michigan gets relief because of the heat from Chuck Masters. Chuck takes out the other roadster, back into the race. A.J. goes by, and then George Fulmer comes in for a pit stop. George started out the year with a win at Phoenix. Back out on the track, they'll roll him out in just a moment, and George goes back in the race. It was the first win for Chevy in years on the championship trail as Gordon Johncock comes back in for another one of his many pit stops and goes back out immediately. Sonny Yates comes in. Little refreshment. Gas is up. Few instructions. Roll back out again. Car number 40 with Joe Leonard driving. Still in contention. The STP cars are driving well today, although not in the top spot. It's Al Unser all the way because Al's car just couldn't go wrong. It ran perfectly in a perfect race driven by Al Unser. Well toward the end of the race now with Al Unser still leading and Bobby Unser now moving into second place. The competition is fierce, as it always is in a championship race. Bobby goes by again in that number 1 Bardol Special, the leader card car, owned by Bob Wilkie. And Gary Bettenhausen drifts out toward the outside wall. Roger McCluskey goes around, but he's still running into trouble, and it'll be real quick when Roger comes back into the pits again, and this should be Roger moving in now. Roger will be in just a moment. This is Art Pollard in car number 57, which ran perfectly in the Rex Mays Classic, but wasn't running just right in this race. A minor adjustment can make the difference of winning or losing a race. Trouble with the gas cap, and this can cost precious seconds. Can cost as much as a half a lap in a race. Another driver getting out of the race, Gordon Johncock. He's had too much trouble today with the engine. Gordon is very disgusted, and he calls it a day. And that's it. Very disappointing when a driver has to drop out. Al Unser comes in for a quick pit stop, followed by Mike Mosley in car number 90, the leader card special. Many pit stops now as brother Bobby Unser comes in for gas only. It's a short pit stop. Bobby charging, trying to get up into the lead, but brother Al is staying out there. Back out again on the track. Wally Dallenbach in the Sprite Special comes in and parks it for the day. Takes a look at it. He's had nothing but trouble. Back on the green again and nearing the end of the race. A few more pit stops. Roger McCluskey comes back in. It's been nothing but trouble all day for Roger, although in 1969, Roger did have the year of being the champion in the stock cars, winning it in the last race. Roger tosses the goggles in and the helmet, and that's it, as Gary Bettenhausen rolls in for another pit stop. This will give you an idea of just what kind of a toll driving on a hot track in this excessive heat takes from a driver. Gary is at the point of exhaustion. An impromptu cold shower. Gary goes over and sits down against a pile of tires, and he has really had it. Cold water, but the car has also had it. Al Unser back in again for more insurance, a little gas, no change of rubber, a short pit stop, and Al goes back out again. A perfect day for Al Unser on the way to his first championship win. Al has been driving beautifully at Indy as he comes by now, and he takes a checkered flag from Jim Malone to win the Tony Bettenhausen 200-miler. One insurance lap, and Al drives back to the start-finish line to hear the applause of the fans and to give a few trackside interviews and, of course, get a kiss. This was Al's first big championship win at Milwaukee. AJ checks the tire temperature just to see what has been going on the track. Al Unser up there, the winner, is brother Bobby, who came in second, the Unser brothers, and the award presented by Miss Midas Muffler. Al Unser, the winner of the Tony Bettenhausen 200-miler. Your narrator, Ben Cy Nelson.